to do a video. Yeah, this was a video I've been meaning and needing to do for a while. This one is on iggy azalea and the constant attacks of people who are not black. Blackfishing. To me, that's the most crazy situation I've ever heard of somebody basically blackfishing simply because she wore a black wig. And she specifically said she wore the same foundation that she wears as always. You can look at her skin, sometimes it has a bit of an olive hue to it. That's just how she is. She's not the palest white person, she's not the darkest either. She's somewhere in between, honestly. Um, but I found it was weird because it was like in many of the pictures shown, it was pictures of people who were black in that photo too, and they looked a lot darker than what they normally look too. Could anyone maybe think it might have to do with lighting more than anything? And on top of it, people like this, where they say people are blackfishing, especially among many different rappers who are white or not black. Um, They often say this about them, but at the same time, nobody pays attention to the dozens of rappers that I'm showing that are mixed women or black women. I consider these women black, by the way, some of them. Like Cardi B, I consider her black. But some people might call her mixed, whatever. That's not what I'm going to argue in this video. But as you can see, Cardi B literally looks like she's trying to look like Iggy Azalea. Yet nobody says a dang thing about her white fishing. Nobody talks about the consistent white fishing of black female rappers. We have Lil Kim, who has turned herself into a complete different creature. To me, honestly, she looks like a monster. I'm not even gonna lie and say, oh, she's tried to make herself look white or Asian. No, thank God, Asian women and white women don't look like that. They look like natural, normal women who are beautiful in their own right. This woman looks like a freaking creature. She destroyed her features. She doesn't like anything about herself. That's why she just basically changed herself into anything else. Um, but you see that look is a look that they aim to have. You look at Cardi B, and people with or without the plastic surgery, for example, would always say she looks very different without her wig and her makeup. Okay, many of the time people would look at her without all that, and they would see a very different woman, a black woman, because she has black features. When she tries to But back to what I was saying, sorry, I got interrupted. But yeah, there's a lot of people who would try to claim that these women were basically, they don't talk about them trying to look like women like Iggy Azalea, like Cardi B does, by the tons of plastic surgeries that she gets. Um, by the blonde, you see the consistent blonde wigs, the contour of the face is specifically to mimic another race. Specifically, Cardi B is a big white fisher, if you will. She constantly is trying to look more like people who have more European heritage, basically. She tries to copy after Latinas that are more Eurocentric than her. She tries to copy after uh, she just tries to look as white as possible. That's where she's marketed, and nobody talks about her trying to take non-black women's look to make her look more palatable to people and not just be her natural self. I mean, if we're talking about Iggy Azalea wearing a black wig, and meaning that means she is blackfishing, but Cardi B can retransform her whole face, wear a hair texture that is nowhere near her hair, wear a hair color that's nothing like her hair color, and try to be perceived as much as possible as a tan white lady, which is a major thing. The tan white woman look for rappers, female rappers, is rampant. It's among people who are, you know, um, like Cardi B, who try to market themselves as Latina, even though they're black. They're not even Afro Latinas because Cardi B's mother is a black woman and her father is a black Latino. So at this point, the lady isn't even Latino, yet she's trying to market herself as a whole different thing, basically. So that's a major problem of the situation. And then on top of it, it's not just being a black Latino and trying to basically, be perceived as something else. It's other people too. For example, people like Nicki Minaj, um, um, Sweetie, who else? Miss Mulatto. A lot of these different women look completely like, blonde, white women. So I find it weird if you're trying to mimic the white woman look, the blonde white woman look with just a tan, and then you get mad when there are white women who have a tan look because fuck yeah, they can have a tan look because that's how they are. In reality, what is happening with mixed people who claim mixed fishing and people who claim black fishing, they are having an issue with the fact that they cannot perfect the look of a tan, blonde, white woman as much as the white woman can. And that's because the white woman can only be the white woman better than anybody else because she's the white woman. So, of course, she aces being that tan, beautiful white woman that you want to look like, but instead you get mad because they look that way naturally. True, people say a tan isn't natural. If we're saying a tan isn't natural, then we should say that for everyone. Not just say, oh, white people, when you get a tan, because it looks nice, um, you it's not real. You're fake tanning and things of that nature. While black people, they get so much darker than what they naturally are, so much of the time. And nobody comes after them for why the heck are you so dark when you were a lot lighter a second ago. No one goes after them because we all understand everybody tans. And nobody goes after what isn't sought after. And that's the thing with white people. You go after people like Ariana Grande's tan because her tan looks really good. And you know it. And that makes you jealous. See, people compared her to Nicki Minaj's color. But the thing is about that is this. Nicki Minaj is that color naturally, yes. But she tans and that makes people feel a little bit better because then she's not of that shade that people think is so ideal or whatever. Instead, they kind of go to the idea of her bleaching and then they hate on her for that and try and call her a bleacher and stuff. When Nicki Minaj is probably not even a bleacher, it's just the fact that people get jealous of people that complexion. That's what I mean. People save their envy against somebody for another person when they feel that person looks better than the other person that they envy as well. So there's that whole situation, and I just feel like black fishing and mixed fishing is not even black fishing and mixed fishing, it's white fishing. And the thing is about that is this. Like I said, many of the rappers, female rappers, that are mixed, like Sweetie, Miss Mulatto, um, who else? Doja Cat. Those are mixed women. And you can see the difference between what they look like without makeup and hair and what they look like when they have makeup, hair, and blonde hair. What do they look like? It's obvious. They're trying to mimic the look of a white woman with a tan. Heck, I don't even know if they're trying to mimic the tan or if the tan is just something that comes with the territory of being darker than white people. But you can tell that that's what they're doing. And then you get other people, for example, that are like black women who, well, this is where the whole blackfishing claim comes from, is women like this, like Cardi B, for example. Um, People like, sometimes you can see it in Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. The difference with Nicki Minaj to me is Nicki Minaj has certain features that just make her look a certain way. That's not really her fault. That's just her. Um, but you'll see this in hip hop singers, like for example Beyonce. You see that often with Beyonce, where she constantly tries to mimic a white woman's look. You take off all the makeup and the hair, and you see a black woman who is unambiguously black. I honestly think she doesn't even really look mixed to me, but hey, some people might say she looks mixed, but from my perspective, I don't even think the lady looks mixed. You see this with other women, like, for example, you see this with Megan Thee Stallion sometimes. You see this with just different people. Like I said, like Lil Kim, obviously, we've seen that, and it's a deeper situation, I think, with mixed women, because if you just look around and you see in the hip hop community among the mixed women, they are constantly trying to look like a white woman with the tan. And that's the thing for me, as what I was saying in the last video. When you aren't black and you aren't white in phenotype, when I'm saying that, I'm talking about phenotype here. This kind of actually includes people like Nicki Minaj, for that matter, even though I consider Nicki Minaj a black woman and I consider Cardi B a black woman. Um, when you don't fit the ideal, like, for example, an African queen, basically like Lupita or Gabrielle Union or Brandy, and you don't fit the ideals of a white woman on any color, for that matter. You don't fit the ideals of being a tan white woman, for that matter. Your features don't fit being a white woman, okay? Because white women are white women, and you're not. Then it leaves you to a place where, like a lot of situations with mixed race people and people who are in between, where you can't fit with either category, basically. And this happens with everything in society, it seems like. Like I said, fitting in is a problem. And when it comes to looks, it becomes similar to that problem where the ideal you find is either like they might push more of the natural hair movement and things of that nature if they look closer to black people. Sometimes, most of the time, you still don't see that, honestly. You'll still see some behavior that shows that they've done something that would look more similar to a blonde white woman who's tan, basically. Or even if they have dark hair, sometimes they still try to mimic that with their facial features and things of that nature. it is what it is, honestly. And I mean, like, I just think that when we're talking about Iggy Azalea looking like a black woman, or even that other chick that they were saying was looking like a black woman, I don't really like to talk about her because I'm like, well, I don't know, like, as far as rap, I don't really think her music is anything. Or if she does make music, I'm not even sure. But I'm just saying, people like that, who are frequently accused of blackfishing. It's like, but it's like, to me, I just feel like people don't deal with reality. And this is why this one chick, for example, I remember they were talking about this girl, I think she was a girl, a kid, and I think she's an adult now. Her name's like Bad Baby or something. And she was talking about how some women, like Lil Kim and women like that, who look a certain way. And to me, I think it's important to point things like this out because when you are trying to say someone is trying to look like you have to say in your natural state. I wouldn't say someone's trying to look like me when I've already tried to create a whole different image than what I naturally look like without makeup and hair. Like, to me, I think, like, that's so weird that people will, like, for example, like, Khloe Kardashian, I remember, was compared to Beyonce, but Beyonce had a whole shitload of makeup that made her look like not herself naturally. She was in lighting that made her look a lot brighter, which her skin naturally can't make. Her skin can't naturally create a white look because she doesn't have white skin. Thirdly, thirdly, she doesn't naturally have blonde hair. Her hair texture is not a soft curl. I mean, so many things. You bring a whole view of black women that is not, positive in the sense of its natural state, and then you try to claim that that is the look that someone is trying to mimic when they were the natural individual who actually looked that way. So, to me, I just think that if you're going to say someone is trying to look like you or trying to mimic you, you need it to have a certain, like, reality with the situation and not try and pretend that everybody is, trying to look like you when the only one trying to look like anyone is you trying to look like them. So that's all I have to say on this video. I think, like, we should never talk about Iggy Azalea or any black fishing incident with Ariana Grande, Kardashians, anyone for that matter. If we aren't going to address the dozens of female black or mixed race rappers who consistently try to mimic the look of a white woman with a tan. So once you figure that out and actually try and embrace the natural look of a mixed woman, the natural look of a black woman, then we can talk about who's trying to mimic you in your natural state. If you're trying to look like someone who is white and they happen to look similar to you because you are taking on their look, well, then who is the one at fault for that? You know you're at fault for it. So why are we pretending anyone's trying to be you when you aren't even trying to be you? That's all I have to say. Thank you and bye. So I wanted to say one other thing, and that is, I think another major part of the outrage is that you basically put in so much energy to look like these people, and then they basically do you one better just by naturally being themselves. It takes less effort from them to create the look that you are trying to imitate of theirs because it's their look. And that's where more of the anger comes from blackfishing. It's not specifically anger at them looking black because they don't look black. What the thing is that they look like what you want to look like. And you know that even after all the things you do to try to look like those people, you still don't look like anything anyone wants to look like, not even you. See, Beyonce doesn't even want to look like Beyonce. Beyonce would still rather look like the other women I used as an example. She's just using the best that she can use for herself. Same with every other woman who does those things to their features to appear more white or more mixed or whatever the goal is. It's not really to look mixed because, like I said, mixed people, many examples of mixed people, it shows they're not at least happy because they're still trying to mimic the whiter women. They're the women who have the phenotype they want, which is usually white women with more of a tan. So I just think that, like, find a way to accept yourself and stop being angry at what other people have over you because they don't really have anything over you. You're just chasing something that you don't have personally and just love what you have. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching and bye.